Picture this. You're sitting at home with a cup of coffee, brainstorming ways to make a little extra income. You stumble upon the idea of selling digital products on Etsy. But then you think, wait, I'm not a designer. Can I really do this? Spoiler alert, yes, you absolutely can. And I'm here to show you how. If you're new here, I'm Yale, a creative entrepreneur who makes six figures selling digital products. And let me tell you, I am not a professionally trained designer, but I figured out how to create products that people love with basic tools and zero formal design skills. So in today's video, I'm giving you a non-designer's guide to creating digital products on Canva. I'm sharing my favorite tips and hacks to make your designs look amazing without any fancy software or training. And towards the end of this video, I'll be showing you a live step-by-step of me creating one of my designs so you can see exactly how my process works and maybe even follow along to create your own. So grab your coffee, your laptop, and let's get into it. My first design tip is to seek inspiration, but always stay original. And let me be honest with you, I didn't always do this when I was first starting out. Back then, I would see a design I really loved and end up creating something way too similar. And honestly, I've regretted that so much. Not only is it unethical, but the designs never really felt like mine. Like, I can't be proud of it. So I've since removed all those designs from my shop because they didn't really represent my work as an artist. Here's what I've learned. Copying someone else's work doesn't just hold you back. It stops you from discovering your own creative style. You see, your style is what's going to set you apart from thousands of sellers out there and make them remember you. And guess what? Once I started trusting myself and leaning into my own ideas, that's when my designs became much more authentic, and that's when I noticed a big shift. Not only was I more proud of what I was creating, but my sales actually started to grow because my products felt unique to my audience. So by all means, look for inspiration. Scroll on Pinterest, maybe browse on Etsy, or even follow creators you admire, but use that as a foundation and not a blueprint. Ask yourself, what stands out to you? Is it the font that they're using, maybe the colors or the vibe? Take that and make it your own. My next tip is to stay organized with your folders in Canva. And trust me, this is something that you'll thank yourself for later. When you're just starting out, it might not seem like a big deal. But as your business grows and you start creating more and more templates, it can quickly feel overwhelming to find anything if you don't have a system in place. Here's what I do. Every time I make a new product, I immediately create a folder for it in Canva. Then inside that folder, I create two subfolders. One called Working Project and the other one called Final Project. All my drafts, designs, and edits go into the Working Project folder. And once I finish that design and proofed it, I make a copy and save it into the Final Projects folder. Why is this so important? Because Canva templates are live, which means any edits you make later will affect the version your clients or customers will receive. That's a nightmare waiting to happen. By having a separate Final Projects folder, I know that's the untouched version I'll be sending out. And here's another perk. Whenever I have to revisit a past design for inspiration or to repurpose it to something new, I always go to the Working Projects folder. That way I can play around with a design without worrying about accidentally messing up the final version. This system has saved me so much time and stress, especially as I've scaled up. So if you're just getting started, I recommend setting this up now. You'll be so glad you did. My next design tip is to keep your designs simple. When it comes to digital products, less is often more. Simple designs are clean, easy to navigate, and less overwhelming for your clients, which makes them way more appealing. Plus, simple designs tend to feel more timeless, so they'll stay relevant longer. That said, of course, there's always an exception. If your branding is loud, bold, and maximalist vibes, of course, go for it, own that style. But even then, make sure your designs are intentional and not just crowded for the sake of it. Believe it or not, my bestsellers are actually my simplest, most minimalist designs. And I think that's because simplicity makes things look polished and professional, which is exactly what people want in a digital product. So when in doubt, simplify. Focus on clean layouts, easy to read fonts, and enough breathing room to let your designs shine. My next design tip is to use repetition for consistency. And this one's important, especially if you're creating products as a part of a bundle or like a branding kit. Repetition is what ties everything together and makes your designs look cohesive. It's all about reusing certain elements like fonts, colors, shapes, layouts, all throughout your designs. For example, if I'm creating a branding kit for a business, I'm going to use the same fonts and colors across all pages. I'll also reuse design elements like icons or headers to keep everything visually cohesive. That way, whether someone's on page 1 or on page 50, the product feels like one seamless experience. But here's the trick. You don't want it to feel repetitive in a boring way. The key is to find balance. Repeat just enough to tie everything together, but still allow for some variety so it's visually interesting. So the next time you're designing, think about how you can reuse certain elements to keep everything consistent. It's a small detail that makes a huge difference. My next tip is simple, but super important. Always proof your work. I can't even tell you how many times I've caught myself delivering products to clients with small mistakes. Things like a typo, maybe a misaligned element or a missing detail. And the worst part, I usually realize it after I've already sold a bunch of them. Luckily for me, the mistakes I made weren't deal breakers or didn't really affect the product experience too much, but it was still super embarrassing, and it's definitely not the impression you want to leave on your clients. So learn from my mistake and take the time to proof your designs before delivering them. Double check everything. Designs, alignments, colors, and even functionality if your product has links or interactive elements. A quick review can save you from having to fix issues later, or worse, deal with unhappy customers. Remember, your digital product is a reflection of your brand, and small errors like this can make it look less professional. So give yourself some grace, but always proof it before it goes out into the world. My next tip is to choose the right color palettes. This one can make or break your design. You see, colors aren't just pretty. They set the mood, they communicate your brand's vibe, and even influence how people feel about your product. When picking a color palette, think about what you want your design to say. Do you want it to feel calm and soothing? Then go for soft, neutral tones. Want something bold or energetic? Then vibrant colors are the way to go. The key is to make sure that your colors complement each other and stay consistent throughout your design. If you're not sure where to start, Pinterest is such an amazing place to find inspiration. Just search for things like color palette ideas and you'll see endless options. Canva also has built-in color palettes and tools to help you experiment until you find one that feels right. Here's a little tip. Stick to 3 to 5 colors in your palette. Any more than that and it can start looking chaotic. And don't forget to play with shades. Sometimes a lighter or a darker version of a color can add depth without overwhelming your design. So take your time with this step. The right colors can elevate your design and make it truly memorable. My next tip is to choose readable fonts. Now I know it's super tempting to go for those super fancy and decorative fonts, and don't get me wrong, they can look stunning, but if your clients can't easily read your design, then it's game over. When picking fonts, always prioritize readability. Think about the purpose of your design. If it's a planner or a business template or anything with a lot of text, stick with clean, simple fonts. For example, serif or sans serif fonts are great for body text because they're easy on the eyes. Save those stylish decorative fonts for accents, things like headers or highlights, but even then, don't go too overboard. A good rule of thumb is to use 2 to 3 fonts max in a design. Anything more than that and things can start looking messy. Canva actually has pre-made font pairings if you're not sure what works well together, and Pinterest is another goldmine for font inspiration. Just search for things like best font pairings or modern fonts. Also, pay attention to spacing and size. Even the most readable font can look cluttered if there's not enough breathing room between letters or lines. So take the time to adjust those settings until everything looks clean and easy to read. Remember, fonts aren't just there to look good. They're there to communicate your message clearly. So keep it simple, keep it readable, and your designs will look professional every time. Okay, let's talk about one of the most underrated design tips, leveraging white space. White space or negative space is all the blank areas in your design, the spaces between your text, images, and other elements. And while it might be tempting to fill every corner with something, let me tell you, white space is your best friend. Why? Because white space helps your design breathe. When you pack too much into your design, it can feel overwhelming or cluttered. White space gives your audience a visual break and helps them focus on the most important parts of your design. Think of it like this. Imagine walking into a room that's packed with furniture versus one that's filled with only the essentials and some open space. Which one do you think is more inviting? That's exactly what white space does to your designs. It makes them feel polished, professional, and more approachable. And white space doesn't actually have to be color white. It can be any background color as long as it serves the same purpose of giving your design some breathing room. So before you hit save on your next Canva project, take a step back and check, is there enough white space? If not, try removing some elements or increase the spacing. Less really is more when it comes to good design. Okay, let's talk about one of my favorite Canva features, Smart Alignment. Smart Alignment is basically Canva's way of helping you align your elements perfectly. You know those little pink lines that pop up when you move things around? Those are your alignment guides, and they're here to save the day. Why is alignment so important? Because when your elements like text, shapes, and images are lined up neatly, your design looks balanced and visually pleasing. On the flip side, if things are even just slightly off, it can make your design feel unpolished, even if the rest is amazing. Here's how I use Smart Alignment. Whenever I'm adding new elements, I let those guides help me snap them into place. For example, if I'm centering a heading, I wait for that pink line to show me it's perfectly centered. If I'm stacking text boxes or images, I use the guides to make sure the spacing between them is equal. One of my favorite tricks is grouping elements. Once you've lined up a bunch of things, you can group them together so they stay perfectly aligned when you move them around. Honestly, these little details might seem small, but they make a huge difference. A well-aligned design is the kind of thing people might not consciously notice, but it's what makes them think, wow, this design looks so professional. So let Canva's Smart Alignment do the heavy lifting for you. My next tip is to maximize Canva's elements. Seriously, Canva has a treasure trove of design elements that can help you take your template to the next level. You just have to know how to find and use them. Now here's the best part. You can create amazing designs even with just free Canva elements. And this is super important because if you're selling templates, you want to market them as editable even with a free Canva account. It makes your product more accessible and appealing to potential buyers. So when you're searching for elements, keep an eye out for that little crown icon that marks pro elements. Try and stay away from them. Instead, focus on the free ones. You'll be surprised at how many beautiful free options Canva has if you search with the right keywords. For example, if you're creating something with a soft and minimalist vibe, try searching for keywords like line art, neutral shapes, or abstract doodles. If you're going for a more playful or colorful design, type in colorful blobs, 3D icons, or modern graphics. And for something trendy and aesthetic, search for boho, organic shapes, or even torn paper. Canva's element library is like your secret weapon for making your templates look high-end without needing any fancy tools. So the next time you're designing, don't just stick to the basics. Dive into Canva's element library and experiment. And remember, free elements are your best friend when it comes to selling editable templates. Let's talk about stock photos. They can make or break your design, so this is a super important tip. You see, the photos you use play a huge role in the overall look and vibe of your template, so it's worth spending a little extra time finding ones that actually fit the aesthetic you're going for. Here's the thing, don't just grab the first random photo you see. If your design has a minimalist neutral vibe but the photo is bold and colorful, it's going to clash and throw off the whole look. When I'm designing, I like to search for photos that are cohesive and feel like they all belong together. If I'm making a bundle of templates, I'll pick a few photos with the same lighting, colors, and themes to keep everything consistent. The good news, Canva has tons of aesthetic photos built right in. You can search for keywords like neutral workspace, boho aesthetic, modern flat lay, or whatever fits your theme. But sometimes Canva doesn't have exactly what you need, and that's where Pexels comes in. Pexels is my go-to for finding high-quality stock photos that are totally free to use. They have such a great variety, and you can usually find something that matches the exact vibe you're going for. It's actually my secret recipe. Remember, stock photos are like the foundation of your design. When you take the time to choose the right ones, it elevates your template and makes it look so much more professional. All right, let's talk about some of Canva's gem features that make designing much easier and more fun. These tools are like little hacks that can save you time and take your designs to the next level. Here are some of my favorites. Background Remover. This is a game changer if you're working with product photos or anything where you need a clean look. With one click, You can remove the background from an image and instantly make it look more professional. It's perfect for creating mock-ups or making your designs look polished. Just keep in mind, this feature is available with Canva Pro. Ctrl+D or duplicate. This shortcut is a lifesaver. If you need to repeat an element like a shape, text box, or image, just click on it and press Ctrl+D or Command+D on a Mac, and boom, instant duplicate. Change colors all at once. Ever design something and realize you need to switch up the colors? Instead of going element by element, Canva lets you change colors across your entire design with just a few clicks. When you change the color of one element, a little pop-up will ask you if you want to apply it to all similar elements. Such a time saver. Shadows and effects. Canva's shadow tool is chef's kiss. It lets you add depth and dimension to your images or text, making them pop. You can adjust the blur, direction, and intensity to get just the right look. Canva also has other effects like glows, outlines, and neon vibes that can add some fun flair to your designs. Now, these features might seem small, but they make a huge difference in your workflow and the quality of your templates. So the next time you're designing, give these a try and see how they can level up your projects. All right, now comes the fun part. I'm going to walk you through how I create a digital product step by step. Now, full disclosure, I've already created this design before, but I'm going to recreate it for you guys so you can see exactly how I do it. I'm also going to be giving away this template for free. Whether you want to just look at it, study it, or use it as an inspiration, it's yours. I will be putting the template link in my description box. So without further ado, let's get into it.
Yeah. One step 달려와줘 like a little 나만 사랑한다고 가져왔던 떨림마저 저 바람결에 사라지는 것 저 푸른 바다 파란 하늘에 yeah. 시원하게 뻗는 highway road 야자수 아래 우린 Cadillac drive Your shine Just take my hand You 어서 용기 말 기다리는데 왜 모르니 Yeah I'm ready One step 달려와줘 like a little 나만 사랑한다고 가져왔던 떨림마저 저 바람결에 사라지는 것 내려서 잠깐 걸을 거 yeah. 설레는 그말 눈부시게 빛난 모래 위 걸음 slow down 모든 게 좋아 Sunshine shine Just take my hand You 어서 용기 말 기다리는데 왜 모르니 Yeah I'm ready One step 달려와줘 like a little 나만 사랑한다고 가져왔던 떨림마저 저 바람결에 사라지는 것 그대와 내 사이 놓여진 그림자 가까워지고 두근거림 속에 우리 시작된 firework 가와줘 나만 사랑한다고 감춰왔던 떨림마저 저 바람결에 사라지는 것 One step 달려와줘 like a little 나만 사랑한다고 감춰왔던 떨림마저 저 바람결에 사라지는 것 Twenty-one degrees and sunny Just the way I always wanted 더 바랄 것도 없어 지금 이대로면 좋아 따스한 햇볕이 가득 담은 sand river The bluebirds peaceful to sing along That I love you Oh 그대여 나와의 거리를 걸어요 Every day of you 난 그저 잔디밭에 누워있어도 좋아요 반짝이는 저기 Eiffel Tower Shines from anywhere 아름다워 When I'm not with you All these shiny seas don't mean a thing
And that's a wrap for today's video. I hope you picked up some useful Canva tips and enjoyed watching me design live. Now I'd love to hear from you. Drop a comment below and let me know. What's one design tip you're most excited to try? Or maybe there's a design tip that I haven't mentioned that you want to share. I'm always looking to learn from you guys too. And hey, if you found this video helpful, don't forget to give it a thumbs up and subscribe. It lets me know that people enjoy watching this type of content. Thank you so much for hanging out with me today, and I'll see you on the next one. Bye!